Sorry for these difficulties. As usual, we have some technical difficulties, but again, we are going to eliminate it in the near future. So, hello, dear Toastmasters, dear most welcome guests. Hello. I welcome you here in our meeting. What is the number of our meeting? Does anyone know? 284. So, welcome and enjoy this meeting. By the way, hello online audience. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So today I decided to tell you about the structure of those masters. Because recently we got quite few new members. That is why I decided to tell something about it, because again, I think it's very important. Hi, hello, join us. So, does anyone know which area our club belongs to?
Area number 1.
Please, most experienced members, please don't tell, keep silence.
108 or
No, area. So I'm already told we are in area 1. Does anyone know which division we are in?
108?
No, division. So, does anyone? F, yes, exactly. And district, yeah, thank you. And what about district? Does anyone know which? Nobody. So this is district 108. That is why I decided to get to know this, and I prepared briefly, of course, briefly, guys. I know we already late a little bit. So here is the structure. Online audience, I should let you know and see maybe. Here is the structure of all Toastmasters in general. There is a headquarters. By the way, does anyone know where is location of
California?
Not California. From 2018, they moved to Colorado. Yes, cheaper. So this is headquarters. Then we have in total 14 regions. And here is actually distribution of this district. And our district, I didn't mention before, number 10. And most of them, you probably know, in North America. So this is our district, again, Russia and some part of Europe too, belongs to. And our regions, and our district is number 108, you already know it. So then we have division F, and area. We have 3 areas, and any area get together some clubs. So our club is here in first area. Now you probably, it's a brief, I know, but why I want you to know it, because we have this autumn, actually every autumn and every spring, we have, we have contests. And it's very important to know all the structure. And I, by the way, encourage you, next time I'm going to tell a little bit more about international contests, because again, I want you to participate in all this stuff, because it's very important for us. It's fun and cool, by the way, too. So Again, this is the structure, and before I introduce our Toastmaster of the day, I would like to invite newcomers here on the stage and introduce themselves. And also we have a special guest today. It's Mike Tom, from North Carolina. I would like to introduce. Can you introduce yourself, Mike, too? Maybe you can start. And guys, come on stage. And maybe before you, Mike, can you introduce yourself, please?
I am probably the most wonderful person you'll meet all day. That's what my mother thinks anyway. I've been a Toastmaster for about 12 years. As you can see by my little plaques over here on my shoulder, I've been a DTM a couple of times. And I love going to other clubs. And I find that Toastmasters is the same no matter where you go, because people are people. I enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. Tell whatever you want us to know about you. Your name, what are you doing here, what your expectations?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Kate. It's my first time here. I'm an English teacher and also a language enthusiast. I can kill myself this way. I have participated in a speech club before, and it was actually organized by my teacher, who is also here today, so we can do it. Yes. And, I found out about this club with the help of her. And actually, I have always been fascinated by her speaking skills, and that's why I also and I wanted to hone my speaking skills. That's why I participated there. And then I found out about this club, and yeah, I would like to hone it here as well, because actually, public speaking is the sphere that I've always been interested in, but I have mixed feelings about it, because on the one hand, it helps you to convey your thoughts, but on the other hand, whenever I need to give a speech, I feel nervous, so I feel like I need to work.
Yeah, in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. And now, the most fascinating moment. I'm going to introduce you our Toastmaster of the day, Anna Rubinina, and I'm looking forward to listening.
Dear Toastmasters, dear guests, what country do we live in? Wow. The best one. The best one. What's it called? What's its name?
I don't remember, I think Russia.
Russia. Okay. What is Russia famous for? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, true. It's also famous for its severe winters and hard snow, right?
Right.
I think Miles can also relate to this, right? Canada is also a very cold country. We have only 3 months of summer, and this period, yes, we have hot summer weather for a very short time, and that's why we cherish this time really very much, very much. So what are the benefits of summer? It's the warmest season of the year. So we can spend time outdoors. Yes, enjoy fresh air, enjoy nature. Next, it's the lightest season of the year. So the daylight is longer. Yes. The sunshine is stronger, and we can do a lot more things than we usually do in winter. And also, I think it's one of the healthiest seasons of the year, because there is a lot of fruit, fresh fruit, a lot of vegetables, and we all get vitamins and other important nutrients, right? So few would argue that sometimes lift our spirits, ease our mind and body, and also fills us with memories from our summer adventures, planes, probably, and acquaint. You don't know this word?
No.
Okay. I'll explain later. And acquaint? No. And counters. Okay. So today, while introducing role takers and speakers, we'll find out what these people think about summer. And the first lady I'm going to introduce is the participant with the thought of the day. For her, summer means friendship because she meets with her old friends and also makes new friends. And while doing this, she does some, I would say, amazing activities. She does rock climbing, kayaking, subboarding, and also Nordic walking. So welcome on stage, online, Irina Gurtavaya with the thought of the day.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Good evening, guests. It's nice to see you here. My cycling season started with bike ride through the garden ring in Moscow. There were unbelievable feelings when all the streets of garden ring were given for cyclists. I rode my bike when and where when I drive my car. More than 50,000 people took part in this Moscow Bike Festival. From that time, I got excited. I thought I would love to walk through the garden ring in Moscow. And I encourage the friends of mine, 4 beautiful girls, to do it with me. It was 2 weeks ago. We met, we were very happy to see each other, but one of us had to return back home in 2 hours, unfortunately. Maybe you know the total length of garden ring is 16 kilometers. It will take 4 hours for us walking there. It was very bad. Problem had been failed. But bingo, we decided to have a stroll through Boulevard Ring. Maybe you know the length of Boulevard Ring is 9 kilometers, and it is enough 2 hours to go around. Boulevard Ring is a really famous place for Moscow citizens. This is the great idea, the best place to discover old Moscow. It consists of 10 boulevards. It is starting from Gogolevsky Boulevard and Yauzsky Boulevard in the end. It was really exciting stroll. We promised each other to take as a rule to walking through the garden ring, the boulevard ring, once a year, every year. It's a good habit to have a new activity, a new thing every summer. There is never going to be a problem to write an essay or tell the story how I spent my summer. Thank you. And now I would like to share some pictures. This is Moscow Bike Festival. You can see that garden ring is open, it's totally given to cyclists. And this is our dream team and boulevard ring. Thank you very much for your attention.
Irina, you haven't mentioned this cycling in your list, so it was very interesting to find out that you do cycling also.
Yeah.
Next, yeah, thank you. So you're here. The next role of the timer belongs to will be served by a man who associates summer with vacation. You know, but I doubt this. Yuri Maisky is the division director of Russia and division F. So he is accountable for clubs in Russia and Kazakhstan. So I don't think you'll get any holidays. But today you're serving as the timer. Please explain your role.
Thanks all. It's a very hard job to restore your English after many years of silence in this language. I'll try to do it. So, do you travel by train in summer?
Yes.
By subway?
No.
By train, right?
By train?
Yeah.
Yes. Suburban train? Long distance train? How do you feel when train move?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. Very smooth movement of your train. It's high point of any engine driver skills to make movement of train very smooth, especially stop. In the beginning or at the end of every platform, you can see a sign: locomotive stop or first car stop. Did you see? Okay. So, how driver stop in the train? At a certain time, he put a controller or stopcock into the braking position, and train begins to slow down. And then more impulse to stop. And the train should be stopped near sign, locomotive stop. Your speech is like train. You have to stop at a certain time, and I will help you.
Wow.
The green card will show that you have to do first braking impulse. You can talk, but you should think about finish. Yellow card, more impulse to be slowed down. Go to conclusions. I'm summarizing. And don't pass red card. The certain moment, locomotive stop. The passengers of the first car should jump to the back if you pass the red car. So, speakers know the limit, the certain limits. For speeches, 5 to 7 minutes except miles. From 2 up to 3 minutes. Every evaluator or expert have time limits from 2 to 3 once, and table topic speakers from 1 to 2 minutes. After the meeting, at the end of meeting, I'll make a little report about your timetable. What about your passengers in the first car? Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri, for your creative metaphor. Okay, the next role is the role of the grammarian, and this lady thinks of summer as lightness because she doesn't need to wear warm clothes and everything seems easier. Yes, because the sunshine fills us with energy and joy. So welcome on stage, Ksenia Bogatyria.
Well, hello friends, I'm really happy to see everybody, and today I'm your grammarian. I will try to slow down like a train that you mentioned because I usually speak too fast. So, since our topic is every summer has a story, and I absolutely agree with this topic, because I think that I feel like summer is a short life. It's absolutely separate life that each of us has in this short period, let's say. And I feel the lightness and simplicity in everything and everywhere because we see the light, as Anna said before, it's longer. And so lightness will be the word of the day. Do you know that we have this word today, yes, lightness, because it's associated with summer. But as I have to check your grammar, be careful to use appropriate structures of the language, okay? I will be, as you know, a little bit strict with you. But please try to feel the lightness while you're speaking with someone, right? So, feel the lightness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Xi. Congratulations with your first role on this stage. And the next role belongs to the quiz master. And this lady thinks of summer as going to Dacha because she used to go there when she was young, right? When she was a child. So Russia, Dacha is a crucial concept for Russian people, right? And I hope that most of you have pleasant memories about Dacha, because some people will remember hardships of helping their relatives while with gardening and cleaning and fixing things constantly, right? So, welcome on stage Alina Shalkinska with the role of the quiz master. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank our Toastmaster of the Day, Anna, for this special and personal introduction. You know, I really like everything special and personal, and so thank you so much for that. Today I'm your Toastmaster, or not Toastmaster, sorry. I'm your quiz master, and I want to say that this role is much bigger for me, because today I am supposed to remind you that Toastmasters is not only about speaking, but it is also about listening. And all of us want to be heard and to be understood correctly. And this is very important for everyone. And an ability to understand and to listen could lead us to a huge amount of conflicts and misunderstandings. So please be careful and listen to others respectfully and carefully. And after that, I will ask you 7 questions. Be fast, be polite, don't interrupt every other members, and please raise your hand before answer. So I will be able to fix who are the first, and after that I will reward you with very delicious and sweet things. So you will enjoy it. Thank you so much. All strict rules. I think you are a teacher, right?
Maybe in the future.
Okay, so it's time to go to the session of prepared speeches. That means that our club members took time and prepared their speeches at home for several months or several weeks and rehearsed them. Okay, and the first lady is, she likes summer because she can wear less clothes. And beautiful dresses and feel the wind touching her skin. So, Tatiana Ovchinnikova will present her speech, her second speech in the club, and will learn how to, she has already learned how to write a speech, right? So your project was to learn how to write a perfect speech. So, Tatiana Ovchinnikova, I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am, Tatiana Ovchinnikova.
Thank you, Anna. Good evening, dear friends. Good evening, dear newcomers, and of course, good evening, online audience. The purpose of my speech today is to give you a new perspective of you, expand your knowledge, or even give you some new insights. All these thirds will appear in your head. René Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. Is it 100% true? We aware and prioritize only one brain, which is located in our head, this tiny part. But what about the other bodies? How do you think? How many brains do we have? You can shout your answers.
3.
Wow, okay. Online audience, how do you think?
Yes, 3.
Yes, oh my God, I'm surprised, but yes, you're
Head,
right.
heart, and gut.
Yes, we have 3 brains. About one of them we've already talked. It's our head brain. And the main functions are thinking and cognitive perception. We analyzing information, sometimes overanalyzing, especially past events. We predicting possible future events. It's all about logic, data, facts, and so on. By the way, did you know that our head brain uses 80% of the energy of the body? And if we give our head brain rest, we'll give to our another 2 brains more energy. Speaking of which, where can be located our next brain? How do you think?
Gut, spine.
Heart. Yes, it's our heart brain. It helps us to define what is most important for us in life, prioritize. This is the place where our emotions and values live. Anger, jealousy, joy, happiness, love, compassion, empathy, it's all here. Through our heart, we feel connection with others. This is my favorite brain. We have our last brain. How do you think? Where our instincts and intuitions located?
Gut.
Yes, yes, it's our gut brain. This is the place of our core identity. Gut brain helps us to survive. This is the most fast reactive brain. Impulse, actions, fast decision making. And of course, our courage is also located in our gut. Now you can see inverted triangle. This is how most people live nowadays. We overanalyze information, ignoring our values, and sometimes feel lost. And this is how it should be. Trust instincts, be aware of your emotions, and only then analyzing information.
Next question will help you to use all your three brains, especially when you struggle with difficult decisions. To sum up, use your head, listen to your heart, and have guts.
Thank you, Tatiana, for sharing your knowledge about technology and our bodies. Okay, the next speaker is going to do her project on body language. And this lady likes to have long walks in summer and enjoy the fresh air and looking at beautiful buildings and parks and see some friends, right? Okay, so welcome on stage, Samira Doster. Good luck. The title of the speech is, no, Where is my home? Where is my home? Samira Doster.
How many of you faced a challenging situation in life, a situation that forced you to make a difficult choice? I was doing a great job in Russia. I was working as a clinical trials analyst for an American company. But that all employees had to move to another country, and it was Armenia. I was devastated when I heard the news. I had been living in Russia my entire life, and I had never even been to Armenia before. I faced a difficult choice, to move to Armenia or stay in Russia. If I moved to Armenia, I could continue working for the company and contribute to its great mission. If not, I would stay in Moscow, but without a job in an international purpose-driven company. I spent weeks organizing all the decision. I talked to my family, I talked to my friends, and even fellow Toastmasters. Finally, I made the decision. I relocated to Armenia. It was a difficult decision, but I knew that it was the right one. I had to start over in a new country, but it was also an amazing experience. I met new people, I learned about new culture, and slowly adjusted to a new life. Everything went smoothly until one day. I was finished with work and ordered a taxi to come home. As soon as I sat in the taxi, I heard, "What this?" I replied hello in Russian and explained that I didn't speak Armenian. A taxi driver turned to me and asked, "Really? You're not Armenian?" I said, "No, I have another nationality." "No, I don't believe you. You must be Armenian." I was scared, shocked, intimidated. The taxi driver turned on the light just to look at my face and prove himself that he was right. "I'm not Armenian," I said again. "I'm from Russia." Taxi driver continued arguing with me. But then he looked at me for a moment and sighed. "Okay, I believe that you just look so Armenian." When I got home, I was still shaken up by this experience. I had never been harassed like that before, and I didn't know how to react. I called my friend and told her what just had happened. She said, "I know how stressful that was, but don't let one bad experience ruin your impression about the country. Let's go to church and pray." So, okay, and the next day we went to church. I entered the church and decided to buy a candle. Don't think that I'm religious. I'm not. I just wanted to make a wish. Please, God, don't make me experience this again. But it seemed that God had another plan for me. I was standing in line to buy a candle when I saw an old lady selling them. I asked her to sell me one, but she just looked for me as if I didn't exist. She replied in the local language, and of course, I didn't understand anything. My friend, who knew Armenian language, asked her to translate the same in Russian. Suddenly, an old lady started raising her voice and shouting that she will never speak any foreign language. I just stood like a frozen statue and couldn't say anything. Is it happening in a church? Is it possible to behave like that? Finally, I bought a candle in another place, made a wish, and left the church feeling heavy-hearted as I was ruminating on what just had happened. I was so stressed out by the two incidents in a row that I felt I could eat a horse. I know that some people like to eat when they feel nervous, so please raise your hand if you're one of those people. Finally, someone understands how it feels. I'm going to have a heart attack if I don't eat something soon, I thought to myself, and ended up buying some chocolates and cookies. But as soon as I was going out of the supermarket, I saw two furious, angry creatures, stray dogs. They were barking so loudly that I even couldn't go out of the supermarket. I was scared to death. Maybe they sensed the smell of a person from another country. Well, I'm sure you wonder what happened next. Eventually, I made it out of the supermarket and went home. Many thoughts started attacking my head. Am I living or am I surviving? Where is my home? Where does my future lie? Several months have passed since I came back to Moscow, and now I'm delivering this speech to you. I learned a lot from my experiences in Armenia. I learned that it is important to be open-minded and not judge people based on their appearance. I also learned that it is important to stand up for yourself, even if you live in a foreign country. But most importantly, I learned that my home is where my heart is, and my heart is with my family and friends. My heart is in my home country. Thank you.
Thank you, Samira. You know, I can see a candidate to win the humorous speech contest. Samira, you should take part in a humorous speech contest and win it.
I was thinking the same, actually.
So, congratulations. So we've got the third speech today, and it's going to be Miles Flag. And I asked Miles about his summer memories, and he remembered a song from his youth from a Canadian band. Unfortunately, we cannot play this song, but it's about beautiful girls on the beach. And I'm sure that everyone has a special summer song that reminds them of blazing days or balmy evenings. Do you have a song in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay. So Miles is going to practice a social speech. It will be a little bit shorter than original speeches, or 4 minutes, and it is a eulogy for his grandmother, Razina. Welcome on stage, Miles Flag.
If you make me marry the man, I will burn his house down and I will run away. Wow. Privet. Greetings, Toastmasters, and guests. Those were the words of my very gentle Grandma Rose, who was actually more formally known as Rosina. And I'm shocked to learn that she would make that personal declaration of essentially threatening war to burn a house down. That doesn't sound like my grandmother at all. However, she left behind a story. And this is called Rosina's Story from 1900 to 1999. And I'll take a few minutes to share who she was. I have another document left by my dad written in pencil that I think is also significant. So let me tell you about Rosina's beginnings. I learned from this document that she was born in Crimea, or what you know as Krim, in 1900. And so it dawned on me that even though I'm in Canada, I was born here in Canada, by some analysis, you would say, well, I'm 1/4 Russian. And indeed, I reflected some more on that, and she ended up marrying Emmanuel, who was born in what is known back then in the 1900s, 1896, he was born in a place called Bessarabia, now part of Moldova. But when he was born, it was part of Tsar Nicholas II's Russian Empire. So on my grandfather's side, on that, I'm also a 1/4 Tsarist Russian. So let me explain some more. Rosina, born in Crimea, talks about her early days as a child and enjoying life in Crimea, and her father, Edward, being a blacksmith, someone who made wheels for wagons, horseshoes and such. And she describes in her story one marvelous occasion where my great-grandfather Edward said, "I'm taking you, Rose, to Odessa because every year he had to go to Odessa to pick up supplies to bring them back to Crimea for his blacksmith shop." And she describes the adventure of visiting her Aunt Christina in Kherson and other relatives in that area, and then on to Odessa. Well, why did my ancestors arrive in Crimea? Well, it was because Ekaterina the Great, Empress or Tsarina Ekaterina, back in 1763, invited foreigners to come to Russia to settle. And so they would have migrated, I understand, from Alsace or Baden-Württemberg into Crimea as part of that invitation. And they were invited to take up colonies and farms and settle there as long as they were in allegiance to the Tsar. She goes on to describe how they Edward decided it was time to move on to a new adventure, and they immigrated to Canada in 1908. And they struggled because although they went to North Dakota in the United States, where there was a relative, they then felt they had to move up to Canada, to Morse, Saskatchewan. They lived in a sod hut, a hut made out of dirt, chunks of grass piled up. And then off to another place in British Columbia, and that didn't work out after a year or two. And then they finally settled in Hilda. And Hilda is where she was told by her parents that they wanted her to marry this man who had come with his family for a visit one day. And she said, "I'm not going to." So she shaped the future. I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for her choice. So she was an early feminist. And I'll just conclude by saying she ended up having not only me, but 21 grandchildren, 25 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. But I always felt special because she was such a lovely person, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you much for your touching speech, and I'm impressed that your grandma lived for almost 100 years, right? She was 99. Oh, I wish we all
Yes.
lived. Oh, yeah, thank you much.
This speech have also changed into a English speech actually. That's potential.
Yeah, that's, you know, I feel a little bit sorry. I think that I'm revealing some TMI while introducing our role takers, because information about our role takers, they probably, okay, so the next lady, she works so hard. Yeah, she doesn't have time to rest. And as I understood, she enjoys having a glass of cold beer in summer, right? While sitting on a bench and watching green leaves and enjoying the smell of lime trees. That's summer. True? Okay, Valeria Kholodkova is going to make a speech on conflict resolution. That's quite important. Welcome on stage, Valeria. Once again, the name of the speech is Making Peace Through Interests. Making Peace Through Interests, Valeria Kholodkova.
Is there anyone in this room who is absolutely totally comfortable handling conflicts? Good. I bet pretty much all of us, I bet pretty much all of us would wish to live in the universe where there are no conflicts and everybody lives in peace. We try to avoid conflicts whenever we can. Okay? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, I have some really bad news for you. We live in the world of conflict. Basically, a conflict is an essential part of human nature. Say, when arguing with a kid over a plate of porridge that you want him to eat, or fighting with your husband over a nice hotel that you want to book for vacation, or maybe quarreling with your mother for booking a restaurant for her anniversary that you want, she doesn't want, fighting with Anna for the speaking slot at Toastmasters for the next meeting. By the way, all taken until October, so that you know. All those small conflicts happen in our life every day, multiple times. How do we typically handle them? Two options on our table. Option number one, push it. Push it, make people accept your decision, make him eat the porridge, win. Second option, step back, fail to defend your position, lose, have anniversary at the cottage thatch house. I don't like thatches, whatever. Anyway. Oh, there is a compromise, you may say, right? But is compromise the best solution? Can we resolve a conflict just by compromising? Let's dig a little deeper into the nature of the conflict. What is a conflict? A conflict always comes in two parts. One is the difference in positions. Two is the difference in interests. Let's elaborate. What is a position? A position is something that we deliberately argue or bargain about. What is an interest? An interest is my personal inner motivation why I argue about this. Let me give you an example. Imagine a situation when there are two boys arguing, fighting for a candy. A very simple situation, right? Each of the boys has taken a very firm, strict, harsh position. He wants this candy for himself, the entire candy. Simple, right? Unless any of the boys relents, there is no mutually satisfactory outcome of the situation. Nobody gets the candy, right? Or either one boy gets the cold candy and the other boy is totally unhappy. A win-lose situation. We discussed that already. or a compromise, split the candy. But in this case, will they all be happy? I think no. Everyone wanted his own entire candy. Now they're both unhappy. Lose-lose. Compromising is not always a winning situation. Anyway, there's something good about position. This is a position-based negotiation, candy. Position is good because it's always simple to understand. You can tell your position clearly. Say, it's easy to articulate, and there is always a solution. I want this candy, give it to me. Anna, for the next Toastmasters meeting, I want a speech slot, so please cross someone out and sign me in, thanks. That's a position, probably not that good. But we are taught and we are raised in terms of positions. Our parents tell us, take a position and stick to it. Sometimes it plays bad tricks. Sometimes we get so much focused on our positions in the conflict that we cannot see anything deeper. Let's talk about the second difference in conflict, the conflict of interests. What is behind your position? What is inside of you? What is your inner motivation? Let's start with the kids. Both want a candy, the whole entire candy. What is hidden inside each of them? Let's just guess. For example, a kid doesn't want a candy, he just needs some sugar, he's hungry. Or perhaps the other boy feels a little depressed because he feels badly treated, or maybe he wants to attract someone's attention with a candy, probably a nice girl or a mother. This could happen. Unless they articulate and know each other's interests, there will be no conflict resolution. But as soon as they do, and they openly discuss and understand what lays behind their position, they could easily find some other options. And this might not even involve a candy. Now, I want to challenge you a little bit. This is a very simple story, basic, right? But conflicts are inevitable. Sooner or later, you will be entering a conflict situation. I promise you that. And the moment you feel you're stepping in a conflict, pause a little bit and do some little thinking. Ask yourself the question, behind my position, what is it in there? Why do I care so much about this particular position? What is it? What is in it for me? What motivates me? And how can I change that? Say it out loud to yourself. The next step, think of the interests and motivations of your opponent. Yes, sometimes it's hard to guess. Sometimes it's even impossible. But then what do? Ask, openly communicate, articulate, ask questions. Why? Why is it so important to you? This will not only lead you, most likely, to different options to consider in a conflict, but it will also build trust, because you start to trust each other and communicate. Win-win situation, bless you, and I'm right. Yeah. Let me leave you with a final thought. Conflict resolution is not an art, and it's not a gift from God. It is a skill. It is a skill to address your inner emotions and your inner interests. It is a skill to communicate openly and ask questions. It is a skill to find solutions to difficult situations. It is a skill to consider your interests and make peace. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Valeria. I will definitely use your advice this weekend at my dacha while with the quarreling with my mom about some gardening work. Thank you. So this part of the meeting is over. We'll have a short break, right? 5 minutes break. You can donate 100 rubles by or more. Yes, by using their phone on the agenda of putting some money into the box. See you in 5 minutes. Our online audience, also you can take a short rest. See you. See you after the break. We're going to proceed with table topic session. That means that all the guests should participate. Okay, you can, but I recommend you to participate. The person who will host this part is Nikolai Marchenko, right? And he was quite laconic, saying that summer means the sun to him, right? So that means probably he will make you speak, not will speak himself.
Yes, thank you, Anna. Hi,
Please
everyone.
explain the rules.
Yes, I will. Hi, everybody online. So today I'm a table topic master, and why I think that table topics are very important, because they give the chance to every person in the audience to speak with no preparation, even to our guests. It's very important. I encourage you all to use the word of the day, which is lightness. Don't forget it, because so far I haven't heard a single person to use that. It's a great chance to do that. I also want to remind you, Yuri has already said that, but I also want to remind you that your time is from 1 to 2 minutes. Please don't overpass the limits, otherwise you will have the problem with the train driver. If you remember the metaphor. And I also want you to introduce yourself, because otherwise there'll be problems when voting, because we need your names. So let's start. Who is the volunteer first? Any volunteers? So Martina, we have a topic connected with summer, and so my topics will also be about summer. You are in the mountains of Altai. You know where Altai is? It's in the east of Russia, and you have an opportunity to go hiking either on a horse or on a quad bike. Which opportunity would you choose and why? How long? For a day. 4 days? No, 1 day. 1 day. I just want to. Can I choose move? No. Can I choose move? No.
Well, it's simple actually, because I'm afraid of horses. I remember when I was a child, I think it's the only one of the few things that I'm afraid of. I remember when I was a child, like my brother took me to horse riding, and so he put me on. I got on the horse, and basically the horse wouldn't listen to me. You just would go sideways, or you would go crazy. So I said, okay, from that moment on, I will not go on horses. And then the quad sounds fun. You know, for 1 day you can go fast. You can go at the speed that you like, so I would probably take the quad. The Altai would be a lot of fun. So thank you.
Anybody else want to have? Okay. So it's summertime and you want to have a vacation.
I want it.
You go to your boss and ask him to give you a vacation. But he says, no, right now it's busy time. I can only give you vacations in November. How do you convince him to give you vacation in summer?
Well, easy. I just tell her I got ill. Yeah, I'm telling my love several times, and everything worked well until one time I went to Italy and said to my boss that I was like at home ill, and she said, "I will come to you to bring you some medicine." And I said like, no, I'm really contagious, and my dad is taking me everything. And well, I think, oh, I will lose like this, or I would just accept, because of course if my boss says no, what can I do? But I will do it. I confirm. Yeah, that's all.
I want to ask the online audience, does anybody want to join? Anybody online wishing to take part in this table topic session? Mike?
I'll take a shot.
Mike, okay. Mike. Sorry. Mhm.
If it's too tough, just forget it.
You get a flat tire. A truck driver stops and agrees to help you, but only if you give him 3 reasons why helping to you would be beneficial to him. What would you say?
Well, first, it would be to his benefit not to have me mad at him for refusing my advice, because my advice is going to be from the heart and golden. So you should not refuse it. Secondly, going through my fourth speaker's advice, it's all about conflict resolution. It's to his advantage or her advantage, probably her, to see it my way. And my third opportunity is to make inroads to that person's good graces by gracefully acquiescing to what they want me to do. Failing that, which I probably will, I'll probably fail in all that, I still have to admit that they probably have a good point and I can benefit from it. Table topics master.
Computer. Sorry, I forgot your name. Daniel. Let's imagine you have a wife. I don't know whether you do. So you and your wife want to fly to Thailand for your vacations. And when the time of the departure comes, suddenly your wife tells you that she wants to take her parents with you. How do you convince her not to do it?
To take your parents?
Yes.
I'll be like, we have children. We have to put them somewhere. So that's one option. Another option, they don't have much money. So if they're going, they have to pay for themselves. Third one, I'm a very nervous flyer. So I would be very nervous around people, and her parents might make me even more nervous. And if the plane crashes, somebody have to take care of it. It's a bit hard, the price is war, so it's better to stay in Russia for now. So our generation can survive while we take the front, experiment, and go to other countries to see how it's like, you know. Yeah, that's great.
Time. No? Maybe some newcomers.
No, online.
Online.
Oh, there are newcomers, 2 newcomers.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe one of the newcomers.
Pick someone.
Our online member raised the hand.
Who is that?
Who is that?
The top member of left.
Right, yeah.
Can you reveal yourself?
Varun Kumar.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're abroad at sea and you have rented a car. After returning the car to the rent company, the dealer says that there is a dent on the bumper and you need to pay the damage. You know that you didn't damage the car, but the company manager threatens to call the police. What are your actions?
Last year, when I visited Spain, I took a car for rent. And unfortunately, while I was taking the car, I did not record the car entirely. And I missed that there was a dent on the car. After I completed my trip, it was time to give back the car to the company. And those managers pointed it out. I was shocked. As a non-European Union citizen, the only thing which scared me to death was deportation from entire Europe. And that's what those people or those car company people were threatening me against. Fortunately, I had presence of mind. I told them, okay, I'll take the same car for one more day. Just give me one day. I am not going to close the trip today, but I will do something tomorrow. You see, I am an Indian. And as being a part of Indian, being in my blood is something called jugaad or something which is called micromanaging things. If I can't get something straight, I will make my finger crooked and get it corrected. I took the dent to a dent repair shop, get it repaired for less than 10 euros. All he had to do was take the bumper out, hit it with hammer from inside out, and then voila, it was as good as new. The next day, I took it back to the same company. They were shocked to see that it was as good as new. They questioned me, how did you do it? I said, what? They questioned me again, how did you do it? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. All I know that you gave me the car in proper condition. I am returning the car back to you. And for that, the proof was they showed me the video that before I took the car, they had a video of clean bumper. I told them, see, in the video which you showed me, there is no dent. I am returning the car back to you in the same condition. What's the problem? And that's how, my friends, I avoided a big problem for me in the Europe. So in case you are in any trouble, try to find the problem, get the solution from the roots. And once you are done with it, hand over the problem back to its owner. Over to you, Tabletop Expansion. Tabletop Expansion, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute. I can't listen to any of you guys.
I can't hear him either. Hello? We don't hear you.
Okay, let me try something.
You don't seem to hear us either.
They got the attention. Finally, they are unmuted.
Okay, the next, we have to, we have 4 evaluators, so we have to stick to time. Yeah, time limit. Thank you, Nikolai. Thank you, all the participants. Yeah. Because we're going to have the third part, very important part, evaluation part. And our general evaluator today is Irina Terentьева. Can you show yourself? Okay. Unfortunately, I had no opportunity to ask Irina about her summer, but I believe that she looks like the sun herself. Always shining, always smiling and sharing her positive feedback, experience, and a beautiful smile. Irina, the stage is yours.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. Anna, thank you so much for such a warm welcoming and for your compliments. In order to master any skill, we need to do the same thing over and over again, but every time making sure that we are doing this a little bit better than the previous time. How exactly can we do this? Obviously through feedback. And Toastmasters is a perfect place for learning any skill, because here we are really serious about evaluation and feedback. Actually, Toastmasters are so serious about evaluation that even evaluators get evaluated. And today, as a general evaluator of the meeting, I'm going to host this feedback session, which is going to consist of 3 parts. First of all, we are going to listen to the feedback of personal evaluators. Then we will listen to the short reports of our functionaries, who are going to tell us how well we are doing in terms of language usage, active listening, and timing. And finally, I will provide my short, brief feedback on the overall meeting. So let's get started then. And first of all, I would like to invite to the stage the first personal evaluator for our today's meeting, who is going to be Anastasia Kostyukovskaya, who will give her feedback to the first speaker of tonight, Tatiana Ovchinnikova.
Dear Toastmasters, dear Tatiana, so thank you very much for this speech, for your presentation. I really liked it. And of course, I found out really, I discovered some new things for me, because it's more or less obvious about our head or heart, yes, but it's much less obvious about our stomach, yes, yeah. So I really liked your structure, and what is more, I liked the way you started your speech. I think maybe I would need to use something like this in my speeches too. That you immediately communicated the purpose of your speech to us. So you made us, you rose our curiosity. So you said what you get at the end. Yes, you will reveal something new about yourselves. I really liked your voice variety. You spoke louder sometimes, and your voice was lower. You also showed your emotions when you reacted to how the audience replied to the questions. So you were really alive. But what was a bit lack for me personally, maybe a bit more movement. I understand it's not easy. It was also still a problem for me as well, but it will make your performance a bit more alive and a bit more natural. But anyway, you tried your best. I saw this, and it was good. So I also observed that you involved the audience, and you interacted very well with the audience. And of course, you rose our interest by asking these questions, yes, making us think, and so on. And you used the presentation when you performed. And at first, I thought, oh God, I hope that will not make more harm, for example, or distract you somehow, but it really helped you. Maybe it is also a kind of idea. It could help you, especially now when you start practicing, maybe using this presentation, just coming closer to this projector and showing something to stress our attention to certain things, maybe at least to begin with this, because you can use the presentation pretty well when you communicate. Only one thing maybe that I would maybe say would be better was your conclusion, because you told us that this pyramid actually should be turned over, yes? And if the purpose was just to share information with us, it was good. But I suppose maybe you could give us advice how we can achieve this, or maybe ask us a question to make us think why we should make it turn over. Yes, but overall, I liked your speech very much, and I'm looking forward to your next speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia, for such an encouraging and really positive feedback. I'm sure that Tatiana will benefit from it a lot. And now we will listen to the second personal evaluator of our today's meeting, who will be Anna Gonzalez. And Anna is going to give her feedback to Samira Dozdar.
Everybody, Samira. I have 2 jobs in one today. I am your personal mentor, and at the same time, I will personal evaluator today. You have gotten already my mentor evaluation yesterday. So thank you for that, for giving the time for this. I really appreciate your interest. And now I'm going to evaluate not what just I've seen just today, but based on the comments I gave you yesterday to see whether you implement them or not. Suspense. Yes. So in general, I really like the movement in the room, which is basically the main objective. You were walking here and there. So I have two types of movements. It's like general movement and purposeful movement. So purpose means that it has an objective, right? You are trying to intentionally show something with one step in front or a step to the side. In general, you were moving, very good. So that was already an improvement. And from yesterday, the second one, the purpose movements, I would say make them more intentionally, make them longer so you can really see them, you know? And I'm going to the next point, which is, for example, the flashlight. I really like that she incorporated the flashlight into a prop into the speech, because it brings you more closer to the message, right? It brings you more closer to the story, you get more involved. And at the same time, you can project the emotions of the moment, which probably were scary for you, but it were very funny for us, I think, looking from far away. So I really like that you took your time to flash, in this case me. And I came right on time for that, perfect. And I will say that be prepared before, because there was a moment in which you were struggling with the flashlight. So just be ready, you can have it, just have it ready before. Then together with that, I really like that you managed to show this moment, which was very funny. And I think, as Anna mentioned, this could be a speech for a human speech contest. Remember the pauses that we talked about, right? When the event happened, you make a pause so you can continue with the story and go back to your own voice and try to differentiate the voices in this case. So we have purpose movements and we have purpose moments of raising your voice. When you take character, you were you, then you were the flashlight guy. So you change places for that, and you can also change your voice for it, whether it's louder or quiet, or angry at the guy was kind of angry, right? Or the woman in the church was also kind of angry. So in that moment, you can play with your voice. It doesn't mean that you have to have many voices at the same time, but just remember that any other character should have a different tone of voice to yours. So we will not confuse who is talking right now. Is it you or is it the other person? If you are mentioning also, you were talking about your inner thoughts at some point, thinking, oh my gosh, is this how it's going to be from your regular voice? So when you are going to your own personal thoughts, you can also change your voice, make a pause, change your voice to a more quiet, so we can understand that you are reflecting. Overall, I really like your speech. It was really funny. I really like the comments on the horse. They were like, you make the pauses where we discuss them. It was very nice. I will still encourage you to challenge yourself to use this speech as a potential humorous speech, and we can implement some of these comments into your speech for next time. It has quite potential. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. It seems to me that your evaluation was as fun and entertaining as Samira's speech itself, and also you made it really, really detailed and included lots of specific examples from the original speech so that Samira can learn from your feedback a lot. And Samira, good luck with your speech contest. We're looking forward to that in autumn. Now we're continuing with our feedback session. Now we will listen to personal evaluator number 3, who is Tatiana Gladышeva, and Tatiana will give her feedback to Miles Flagg. Tatiana, the stage is yours.
Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, dear Miles, as I expected, it was another great speech of a great speaker. The very first, honestly, I never listened to any social speeches before, and this is the first time I'm evaluating this kind of speech. And the very first thing I would like to say thank you for is not even related to the content of your speech is that your pronunciation is very clear, which is very important for offline audience listening to online speaker. So I caught all of the words, which doesn't happen all the time with all of the speakers. Thank you very much for that. I think you had plenty of experience practicing that skill. Another good thing to say that you started your presentation with a quote of your grandmother that was kind of contradictory, but very catching for the speech. Another, of course, good thing to mention is that you listed a whole bunch of very interesting facts about your family history, about your grandmother, and about your past. I amazed how deep you digged into your family history. I have no idea where my grandparents were at 1900. Let's say a couple of words about the drawbacks. Tell me yourself, what is the biggest one? What do you think your biggest thing was?
Well, time. It's difficult for a complex story of a person to condense it into 4 minutes.
Yes, that's right. You went away over the time limit. And your story was very interesting, very complex. And that is worth of entire big project. And please do so. Prepare another good big project on the past of your family and share it with us. And we'll be more than happy to listen to it. And let me ask you another question. I'm not sure if this I don't tag it as a drawback, but this is a thing to think about. Was this speech really social? Did it fit into?
Well, they consider an eulogy to be a social speech, along with a speech that's giving someone an award or praise or accepting an award or a toast. Those are all considered social speeches in the project, and you're welcome to choose any two to try.
I see. I would expect some kind of like social facts, like making any solutions for social problems, but it's up to you. Overall, it was a great speech of a great speaker, and thank you very much for that. And please make a bigger project on your family history. Thank you very much, Miles.
Thank you, Tatiana, for such a structured feedback. And I think it was especially great that you invited Miles to analyze his speech himself so that he can learn something about his progress even better. And now we are moving to the last personal evaluator of our today's meeting. Mike Thorne is going to give his feedback to Valeria Khaladkova. Mike, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you. Valeria, could you move to your right a little bit? There you are. I knew you were out there. I've been trying to guess who Valeria was throughout the entire meeting, and then she suddenly materialized out of nowhere, and it was worth the wait, because she is obviously a DTM. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I can see a DTM a mile away. I like the way you started the speech by your thought-provoking question. And that's my first suggestion for improvement. Although the question was thought-provoking, you sort of rushed right into your speech right afterwards. If you would pause for just a couple of seconds to get people thinking about the path you want them to take, you might have been able to make a greater point of it. You mentioned that conflict as being basically human nature. And I like that. I thought that was totally appropriate. My immediate thought was, it's also true to my marriage, but we'll skip over that. But what I really liked was your body language. You're such a natural speaker that your body language just flows with your presentation. However, as the second evaluator mentioned, you want to make your motions and your body movement stick for a purpose. So as I've been told, you move for a purpose and avoid pacing back and forth. Not that you did that excessively, but I started to watch for it and I became aware of you moving back and forth ever so slowly. You also mentioned the types of conflict and how to handle them, the positions. And my thought there was that you covered a lot of ground. There's only 2 or 3 of each one, but I bet very few people in the audience can repeat those back to you. So I thought maybe if you used the flip chart and quickly sketch out what they were for a visual image to hand it back to them. And then if there's, you had an excellent summary. You went through the position analysis, think, emphasize that conflict resolution is a skill. Superb summary. Really brought the whole speech home. And in that regard, I thought it was very thought-provoking. But what I would like to have seen is a distinct, strong call to action. What do you want them to do? You want them to be aware as a skill? What do you want them to do as part of your speech? So make it a little more oomph to it at the very end. And my final thought was, you're so relaxed that you never had to stop and think of what you're going to say next. But perhaps occasional pause to let the audience catch up with you would be advantageous. I repeat, I can spot a DTM a mile away, and you're obviously a DTM. Very well done.
Thank you, Mike. Another benefit of feedback in Toastmasters is that it is available to everyone. So basically, even while attending a regular meeting, we can learn from distinguished Toastmasters almost every time. So that was really useful. Thank you for that. Now, who remembers what the next part of the feedback session is?
Reports.
Reports, absolutely right. So right now we are going to listen to 3 reports, and I do hope that we are going to receive some good news about our performance today. And first of all, I would like to invite to the stage the person who will tell us everything about our language usage tonight. Let's welcome our grammarian, Ksenia Bogaturya.
Thank you. Well, I really liked all of the speeches, but as I was a grammarian, I needed to be careful with the language and the structure, so I will highlight some mistakes. Well, no offense, please. Well, Tatiana, which is located, it's better to say than which located, right? When you are saying something like we are analyzing and we are practicing every day, it's better to use present simple because we practice every day, right? And the most fast reaction, the faster reaction, without the most faster, it's a short adjective, faster, without most. Samira, I can't say anything because your grammar was just amazing. I just wanted to say that I listened to, I heard you use past perfect. That's great. Not every person uses past perfect in the right way. Nikolai, as if you remember the metaphoric, you should say better if you remember the metaphor. Metaphoric, it's like an adjective, and we wanted to use noun. And Daniel, hey. Somebody has to take care, somebody has to take care, right? Because somebody is singular, of course, always. And the last one, I will speak about Anna Gonzalez, have gotten yesterday, got yesterday, right? Because it was yesterday, so it can't be present perfect, have gotten, right? Yes. And more closer, it's better to say just closer without more. And I don't know your name, sorry, Tatiana, right? I was amazed instead of I amazed. That's all. So anyway, everything was just amazing. I really liked all the speeches, and you're such, you know, you're great guys that you are using your grammar well.
Thank you, Ksenia. And what about word of the day? Do we have some winners who use the word likeness?
Likeness, nothing.
No winners. No great news for general evaluator. Okay. So as I previously said, DTM can spot a detail from far away. I could spot the teacher from far away. So Ksenia, thank you so much for such a detailed report. First of all, you've included very detailed analysis of the speeches presented by everyone today. And also I would like to highlight that you presented the word of the day in a very vivid and clear manner at the beginning of the speech. And you connected word of the day with the topic of our today's meeting. A small suggestion for you as a grammarian next time probably would be the first thing, not to make it too personal, since sometimes, and maybe you also know it, that sometimes people may feel a little bit confused and even embarrassed if they are just called out like that. So maybe just talk about some inaccuracies generally without mentioning who exactly made this or that mistake. And also maybe it would be great, maybe someone else will agree with me on that, that it would be nice to hear about great usages of language. What do you say about that? So we're all here to learn. So maybe if you spotted some interesting phrases, idioms or phrasal verbs, it would be nice to hear something about that so that we can use it in our speech next time. Overall, thank you for your report. Thank you so much. And now we are ready to see how well we are doing with our active listening. I would like to invite to the stage the quiz master of today's evening, of today's meeting, I'm sorry, Irina Shalkinskaya.
I hope that I will do it by myself.
Oh, sweet. That's right.
Yes, multiple tasking. So I will manage. And first of all, I want to thank all of you for these great speeches and for everything. It was enjoyable and it was perfect as usual. And I'm very, I feel comfortable in this area, and this is very important for me. And I listened very carefully to your speeches, and right now I have questions, but I have not so many in order not to make you tired. So we have just few questions, and I want to start with a tricky one. How many percents of energy does the rest of the body take?
20.
20. Nikolai. Thank you so much. Yes, good start. The second question. Samira passed through different difficult situations, and where was the second negative situation? George. Yes, I think that Irina. Yes, yes. Thank you. And thank you for your speech, Samira. I heard your speech for the first time, and it was great as just as all of the speeches today. And the third question, when was Rosina born?
Crimea.
When?
I know. 1900.
1900. Yes. 1900. The fourth question. We have different conflicts. How could we face the conflicts? We have two ways.
To listen to your interest, to your interesting position. Interesting position.
No. How we can face the conflicts? For example, we can push conflict, or we can step back. Yes, exactly. Our president, I think. And my mentor. The fifth question. And I liked it very much. Valeria is not here, yes? She asked, no, just according to Valeria, we could build trust. How we could build trust in the conflict situation. It was at the end of the speech.
By understanding your.
Yes, by understanding the positions.
Your position
And the
sharing
position
it.
of, yes, of other person.
So
Yes, and I think that it was the most tricky one. And this sixth question, Martina said that he doesn't like horses. Why?
Scared.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
He had some, yes, some situation, yes, a situation, his childhood, yes.
don't remember. The horse didn't listen to him.
Martina, help us.
I think that's it. So I think yours was going sideways and
Valeria, right?
Yes.
Yes, Valeria.
Thank you.
And the last one, this question I took from the speech of Irina Terentьева. How could we master any skill?
Repeating.
Yes, exactly. So, thank you so much. So I finished.
Thank you, Arina, for such an interesting and really joyful quiz that you organized for everyone. And also I would like to highlight the way Arina presented her role at the very beginning of the meeting. She emphasized the importance of active listening for us as speakers, and also as human beings in general. So thank you for that, because sometimes for speakers, it's not that obvious that we should be really good at listening as well, not only at speaking. So thank you for that. And finally, right now, we are ready to listen to the report of our timer, Yuri Maisky.
I trust you're very good speakers, all of you. And what about drivers? How can you manage your time? And our time too. Who lost passengers from the red cars or maybe tail cars? Most of all of you are not accurate, sorry. Very, very accurate, Sandra. Very, very accurate. Our table topic speakers, Michael and Daniel. Others, most of all, over limit time, especially Miles. Your passengers from first, maybe the second car, fall down while half exit. However, Tatiana, we're ahead of time. She lost passengers from the tail too. Sorry, be careful to the managing of your time. Try to rehearse your speeches. Maybe take list, printing list. This list takes 3 minutes of public speaking speed reading. It's about 100 and a half characters. Please be careful about your time and our time too. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri. Yuri's speech today is a reminder for all of us today that every role in Toastmasters is our chance to practice our public speaking skills. Of course, everyone knows what timer does and what his or her responsibilities are, but still it is our chance to present it in the most interesting and eloquent way. And today Yuri did it just perfectly well, connecting the speech of the timer with the topic of the meeting and creating this beautiful metaphor that I'm sure stuck with everyone till the rest of the evening. So thank you for that. And now we are ready to move on to the very last part of the meeting. I do promise that I will be really, really brief, but as a general evaluator, I would like to provide a short feedback to the organization committee of the meeting. Well, first of all, let's give a round of applause to the committee officers for organizing this incredible meeting and for giving us these beautiful and pleasant emotions and feelings. So thank you for that. Guys, trust me, it takes a lot of effort to organize a meeting like this. And guys, you did really great job on doing that. Since today we are talking about summertime, I decided to describe this meeting as a picture of summer landscape. And first of all, I would like to describe those things that drew my attention from the very beginning. The first and foremost was this huge, bright sun. In other words, it was the atmosphere of the meeting. And this atmosphere was created by all the people who were present today, starting with the president, Toastmaster of the day, and everyone involved in today's meeting. Everyone was incredibly friendly, warm, open, and kind. So guys, thank you for that. As an online participant, I also felt this warmth and friendliness even sitting here. And at no time was I feeling that I'm kind of forgotten about. So thank you for that. That was really pleasant. Secondly, what I see in this picture is the smooth flow of the river. In other words, the smooth flow of the whole procedure, of the whole meeting. For me, it was really clear that everyone knew exactly what they're responsible for and what they needed to do at the meeting. And this is why everything went just effectively and successfully for all the speakers, for all the evaluators, and I'm sure for guests as well. And finally, in this picture, I see lots of colorful flowers. In other words, this is stable internet connection. And today we had a person who was responsible for that. We had hilarious tasks created by the table topic master. So thank you for that. And a round of applause to these incredible situations, which were so much fun to discuss. And the overall setting, because again, as online participant, I could see and hear all the presented guests very, very well. Probably the only thing that I also see in this picture that I would love to improve somehow, this is a small cloud that is approaching the sun. This is the general evaluator who actually failed to answer the question of Toastmaster of the day. Anna, you are so pleasant and polite to hide my mistake, but actually it was my fault because I never managed just to answer this one message. So this is the only thing that I believe could have been improved today. Apart from that, that was a really incredible and enjoyable meeting. So thank you for that. And I would like to invite to the stage the president of the club, Ekaterina Dymova.
Before we move to the presentation of awards, I would like to thank again to Yuri. Thank you for your connection and help with all equipment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Newcomers, thank you. I invite you to our next meeting, please. In 2 weeks, join us. It will be fun, I guarantee you. And everybody, especially our officers who really, Irina already told, we are doing what we can, right? Trying to survive and trying to do so. And I would like to mention again, Anna told me I should every time. We are a non-profit organization, and what we are doing voluntarily. Please, if you wish, you can. I'm right. Am I right?
And ribbons.
So, yeah. So now we have a presentation of awards, and I'm very happy that we have 2 actually awards today. And the first one is about level. We have one person who completed level 2 presentation mastery. And this is our fastest member. She just started maybe 5 months or half a year, right? And she's already completed. I didn't, but she's already completed. So Anastasia Kostykovskaya. Just.
Great, you can be judge.
Thank you.
Next award is about table topics. What do you think? Who is the winner of table topic session?
As usual.
As usual, yeah. This is traditional. You should join our club already. Let's
Just a
have
minute.
this, yeah.
Irina is taking pictures.
Congratulations. True, yeah. Join our next meeting. Thank you so much. And also we have a tradition. After our meeting, we usually go to some place nearby, a bar or cafe, and share our emotions, share our feelings, and get to know each other, right? And it's called, by the way, after party, and we have special person responsible for it, for that, Anna Gonzalez. After party. So yeah, finish. I ask you to go with Anna in
Follow Anna.
Follow Anna, definitely, yeah. So and finally, I would like to say again, thank you. I invite you next time in 2 weeks. Anna would like to say something.
Before partying with Anna, I want you to sign for a role with Anna.
You told us that already finished.
What speeches are taken, but roles.
Roles, yeah,
yes,
okay.
are
We have a
available.
couple of person who would like to, to sign up.
Yes.
So, and finally, we can take a picture, right? Come on stage and with everybody.
So can you be,
Great idea. But okay, maybe we can.
You're gonna be called Potya.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this is wonderful. We can reach everybody.
Squeeze, squeeze.
Yeah.
We need our president.
And maybe,
They go closer to the follower.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna do it. Get closer to you.
Oh, okay.
Get closer to the camera.
Did you get it already?
I didn't know this was my job.
Okay, thanks. We are closing.
Yeah, thank you, online audience. Thank you so much. Bye. See you in 2 weeks.
I sing, everyone.
Thank you, guys.